and you and thank you so much for coming today.
And all the attention is going to be on you. Are you ready for that? Are you ready for people to say, over and over again?
Thanks for coming.
Yeah. What's going on, family? You know who it is. Monica Sekhmet Grant, Young Boss Media, coming live from the bathroom. Just like BET, live from the basement. We in the bathroom. What's going on, family? I told you I'd be right back. I just had an interview. We were out in Ghana. Listen, I know y'all think that y'all can't travel, but I be traveling. And so this interview, I'm in Kenya. I'm traveling. I'm getting around the world. You know what I mean? This virtual space got me connected with folks I ain't never think I was going to get to meet with folks. So y'all got to get on it. Stream y'all Zoom. Meet you some people. Don't just be stuck all cranky in your own neighborhood, because that can get frustrating. Now, before I get into this next interview, it's going to be fun. It's going to be with another media maker, and she's doing a lot of great things in the community for the youth. She's a media activist. I got to make sure that y'all know Mind Your Business and Prosper is still for pre-order on youngbossmedia.com. That is my 4th book coming out. I hate the fact that it covers my face, but I have no other way to do this. I got to figure that part out and do it right here. So Mind Your Business and Prosper is coming out on August 17th. This is my 4th book, and it's about entrepreneurship. And what it is, it's a self-help autobiographical book about my life, the things that I had to learn through my journey as an entrepreneur. As you know, I ain't have a lot of money, so I got to make this work. I got to be resourceful. I got to be nice to people. I have to build relationships. All the things that I had to learn to become a better woman, to become a better entrepreneur, to become a better media mogul, to get to where I am today and to the place that I'm going tomorrow. I had to shed a lot of fat, physically, but also spiritually, emotionally. So it's not just a book about how to start an LLC or, how to invest your money, but it's really like, how do I invest in myself? How do I become the best person that I can be? So do this again. So on August 17th, make sure that you get this on Amazon. But if you would like to get a signed copy, go to youngbossmedia.com right now. That's kind of silly to have to do all that, but I'm with it. All right, so now we're going out to Kenya. Now let me say something. I did my blood test and it came back that I'm in Turkana. I am from the northern tribe of northern Kenya of Turkana. And so when I saw this sister, we've been talking for a few months, but when I finally saw her, I was like, you look like my sister. You look like my sister. So I'm going to bring to the show, bring to Mentorship call. Her name is Judy Magu. She is from Kenya. She's a media and project management specialist, professional. She helps with the Global Goodwill Ambassador. She's helped with the youth. And so there's so much work that I want to do with her. I want to bring her to the show. What's up, Judy? How you feeling?
Hi, Monica. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Sister from the other side of the world.
That's right. Look, we got the same nose. That's our nose, yo.
I know. Welcome to Kenya. Welcome
Thank
to Nairobi.
You. Thank you. It feels so good. I could smell the food.
In Nairobi, we say sasa. You say feet.
Sasa?
Feet. That's a slang of Nairobi. Yes.
I like that. Sasa. Feet. I like that.
Yes.
So tell us, for people that have not been to Kenya, I haven't made my trip yet. Tell us, what do we expect in Nairobi? Like, what's the vibes? What's going on in Nairobi?
Nairobi is a very vibrant economy, and people are busy. And there's a lot of beautiful tourist attractions all over the country. Agriculture in Kenya is, the coffee probably that you're taking right now is from Nairobi. So there's so much that is happening in Nairobi. It's a serious cosmopolitan city. Yeah.
I love it. And that's what I've heard.
But of course with the COVID happening, things have slowed down a bit. But, people are resuming to normal bit by bit, because at the end of the day, you have to put food on the table. So guys now are out working and trying to make a living and stuff like that. So you see the buses, the commuter trains. I don't know what you call them on the other end. We call them buses here. We call them matatus. Mm-hmm. Now they're operating. And then we have the motorbikes, which we call them boda bodas. They're working.
Boda-bodas.
Yes.
I love
you should get on one. You should get on one when you get here.
Listen, I'm adventurous. You tell me what to do, I'm on it. Get on the back, I'm on it.
Yes, my Turkana sister, you'll have to. Yes.
So is everybody walking around with masks on like we are?
Oh yeah, thank God for the interview. You don't have to wear a mask. It's such a relief. Yes, everyone is wearing masks everywhere. Actually, if you don't wear a mask and you get out there, there is a fine for, let me see, this is $200.
Wow. Yeah. I think that exists here, but Folks be ready to get caught, you know.
Yeah, and let me tell you that all the messages that are going out, even in the mainstream, above the line media and below the line media, they're just trying to tell people, hey, take precaution. Right now, the matters are in your hands. It's not a government issue, it's your own responsibility. So protect yourself, make sure you put on the mask, make sure you sanitize, make sure you eat well for you to survive COVID. Yeah,
That's
it's
right.
crazy.
Eat well for
Yeah.
sure.
And again, initially people were scared, but right now I think people are just adjusting to normal, because once you realize this thing is here to stay, you just have to find a way of surviving. Yeah.
Did you all have the urban myth conspiracy theory that Black people couldn't get COVID? Was that a thing in
Oh
Kenya?
yes. Oh
Okay.
yeah. Initially, that is when it was coming in in March, and that is why you saw the numbers were very minimal. But people are like, I mean, we are eating properly, and then people are saying there are medicines that they could use. But unfortunately, you can see the numbers are going up every day. They're increasing every day. So we people have decided now to, take matters into their own hands and take responsibility and make sure you put on a mask. At the end of the day, it is you is going to be with the ventilator. Yeah, it's not the government.
Right. And so from our
Yeah.
experience, at least at first it was like once you get on the ventilator, that's it.
That
You
is it.
gone.
Yeah, I saw stuff on social media. It was not funny, and especially
Mm-mm.
for the people who have conditions or the aged. I mean, it's crazy. So let's
Yeah.
let's be responsible. Let's
Yeah,
be
because
responsible.
definitely here it was just like Americans are one stressed, but we eat like our diets are terrible. You know,
Mm.
we're the nation of hot dogs and potato chips and all that. And it's
Oh
just
Lord.
like, of course, our health would be the reason why we experience this the worst. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
but
The thing is, one thing about Kenya, you will find a lot of fresh vegetables
I love
and
that.
citrus fruits. I
Yes.
mean, ginger, all that stuff. So it's easy for you to just get them at a cheap
Yes.
price. And also there are nice herbs that have got vitamin C, moringa, and everything.
Mm.
So basically for nutrition, that is why we have advantage. You can imagine now if you had to buy,
I
then you would be
love veggies. I love
yeah.
that's primary. Cause I'm primarily a vegan until like I go to my mom's house and then she just cook and I just eat what she eat because she cook and it's mom. But for myself, 'cause I love vegetables. I love fruit, and particularly here in America, like we don't know where
Yeah,
our animals come from.
really.
Yeah, and they're awkward. Like they could be GMO type chickens and beef. Like you don't know.
Really? Please calm down, calm down, calm down, calm down.
That's my chicken. That's my
Calm
cow.
down, calm down. There's loads of healthy stuff waiting for you on
You're
this
gonna get me
end.
fat again. That's
Okay,
the
right?
problem.
Yes, please calm. There's much actually. So calm down this
I
time.
love it. I'm coming. I'm coming. I gotta see my people. Now
Shame on me.
let's
Yes.
get into your career. Tell me about the work that you do.
Basically, as you mentioned, I'm a media and a project management professional, been in television and radio for a long time. Let me say 15 years. I hope I'm not sounding so old.
Mm-mm.
And I started with documentary production. Actually, I started off as an editor,
Okay.
audiovisual editor. I started actually on technical, directing live shows, and Then after that, I decided to produce. So
Good.
I did a few of docudrama series, and that time we were big on trying to bring in HIV interventions in the continent. You remember that is a time now there was a
Mm-hmm.
stigmatization. People didn't understand what exactly was this animal all about. So we had
Right.
a lot of messages that were tailored for the different communities, different target groups. Some of them were truck drivers because they were really hit, and commercial sex workers, and then also in the villages. So we would
Mm-hmm.
do messages in English and then have them translated in the different vernacular languages. By the way, in Kenya we have about 42 tribes, so you can imagine. So when you're disseminating a message, and then that time we did not have
Wow.
the liberalization of the airwaves, so you can imagine there was a limited limitation in terms of the platforms that you could use to transmit messages out there. So
Mm-hmm.
you had to go through communities, you had to go through churches, you had to go through schools to disseminate that kind of message. And a lot of people now are getting infected by HIV. Then after
Yeah.
that, it went to discordancy couples. Yeah, and then after that, now again, we started getting into now messages to do with governance issues, political violence and stuff like that. Then also things like gender issues, like female circumcision and stuff like that. Basically, sensitizing the communities in their own simple ways. So those are the messages that we're trying to put across. So that's how I got into now designing documentary productions, or whether they were films or whether they were music videos.
Mm-hmm.
I kept growing because after now I had finished doing docudramas, I decided to do something different. And then I joined a project that was run by Media for Education and Development. So then they would get experts from the US working with BBC, and then they would come and train us. For example, if you wanted to do like a series producer for a drama, they would train you for that. If they wanted to do directing, if they wanted to do DOP, if you wanted to do script supervisor, they had all those different roles. So they would mentor you for a whole series, and then now the next one, now the team would take up. Let me tell you, Monica,
Nice.
that opportunity gave a lot of us experience that we could not even get from our media schools, because media schools will teach you how to be a creator. They'll show you sort of the theory, but now the practical bit of it,
Right.
you need experience on the ground. So I thank media because they gave us that opportunity. And most of the people who are running most of the top cream shows in Kenya, they are from that kind of training.
Got it.
Yeah. So they
So
taught us to do drama, they taught us to do live shows, like now a more elaborate show, like with a different dynamic lighting, and it was like a full crew of about 200 people. And that
wow.
is now when I get into Coco Studio Africa. That experience taught me to get into Project Fame. That was for Endamo South Africa, then Cook Studio Africa, and then Be Your Own Boss. We have a show that is similar
Yeah,
to yours
hey,
now.
yeah.
You saw it?
Yeah, I love that show.
Yeah.
So Kenyan media is very impressive, and so it's like
Yeah.
you have Kenya, you have Nollywood, you have South Africa, and
Yes.
so like those are kind of like the media hubs, and so Kenya
In
definitely like
Kenya,
I'd
in
be
Kenya,
proud of y'all.
in Kenya, we have the Riverwood.
The Riverwood,
Yeah, you
the
come here, I'll
Riverwood.
take you. Come
Please,
down, I'll take you
I'm coming. I'm
to
coming.
the Riverwood. So what is so funny, if you look at the kind of content on YouTube from Kenya, it's so much, even with the normal dialect. I told you at some point there was a liberalization of the airwaves. Forgive
Uh-huh.
my L's and R's. I'm from Kikuyu, so we have an issue with our L's and our R.
It's all
So
right.
So when the airways were open, then there was an influx, so people could access the licenses even in the dialect. So nowadays you can have broadcast sessions like what we are doing in my native language.
Right.
So now what happened? Now the budding artists in the communities now came out. Now we have dramas in Kikuyu, in Toluo, in Kiswahili, and people are just discussing about the issues affecting them in their community in their
That's
own small
right.
way.
That's right. Got to get the voice out. Got
Yeah.
to get
So,
out.
yeah.
So, for to be a woman in media in Kenya, what is that experience like? Like, how when you came into it, were you supported by your parents? Was this something that like other women around you were doing, or was it just something you fell into?
Actually, now that you're asking, I really don't. I just decided. I think I wanted. Actually, I wanted to do what do you call it? Business studies. I was very good in business studies, but for some reason, I don't know how I got into media. But all I remember is telling my mom. My mom is a lecturer. I told her, "Look, mom, I'd love to get into media studies," and she connected me to Kenya Institute of Mass
Hmm.
Communications, and I got myself in. But it was
Wow.
tough because you can imagine the college is channeling out so many students, and this is not just the one college. There are many colleges,
Right.
and the opportunities are few. So you had
Mm.
to be very strategic. By the time I was getting into my second year, I was already camping at the cultural center to get auditions for shows, And the first gig I remember I was a production assistant. I was paid $5, and it was very exciting. And then the next one I was a chaperone. Then the next thing is communications, where I got my first job. They wanted to train an editor because remember that time, that is when we were migrating from analog to digital kind of an editing suite. And so when they told me, would you be interested? I was like, yeah, I know how to do it. Dude, I did not know how to do it. But I realized if I don't take this opportunity, then it might be long since I get a proper job.
That's right. That's right. Are there a lot of, well, I know the answer is no, but like, the question I was going to say is, are there a lot of women in the industry? And usually like the answer is no, but like, what is the percentage? There are, really?
There are many. And I can tell you, it is not easy for them.
Got it. Let's talk about that. What is it like to be a woman in media?
Can you imagine? That was then. You're trying to get an opportunity. And first of all, okay, sorry. I hope it doesn't come out in the wrong way. But at times you have to know somebody, have a godfather somewhere to link you up. Or you have to be very aggressive, as in know your stuff very well. Or the other option is get exploited. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah,
that's why we're here on an independent media company, because I wasn't willing to be exploited.
That is it. So I remember people would look at you, they're like, he's such let me tell you, Monica, I never even wanted to be a technical person. I never wanted to be a producer. I wanted to be a presenter. I even remember making a demo. And that is the time when our mainstream broadcast houses were opening. So I went. Trust you me, I didn't pass. And you don't want to hear the rest of the story. So it's either I had to go back to my mom's house in the village. And farm. And they're already telling you, and they're telling you you're already 21, so please get your life together. Or get out and fight. So that is why I was camping at Kenya National Theatre when my friends were busy, waiting for the time when we're going to be given letters for attachment. I was busy hustling. So I went and told them I can do this job. And I did it. And even then it was not easy. But I thank God. I thank God because the boss I had, our boss Raphael Tuji, was a very good man. He gave us opportunities. We were trained, and the rest is history. And he gave us a chance to grow. But let me tell you one thing, Monica. You just have to drive the process you yourself as a woman. Don't expect somebody to fix you. It won't happen.
That's definitely my story. The reason why I can do so much in my company is because no one else would do it, until, because once you build something, then everybody wants to come on board and say, oh, I love what you're doing. It's great. How can I help? But when I had this vision, nobody cared.
Nobody believes in it.
Nobody believed.
But the thing is, we have to keep at it. And that is why, even as I continue to progress in my career, moving from now documentary production to drama to live shows, and then I got to now the big break, getting to line management and being the second to the CEO, where I'm giving an opportunity for our young Kenyans to work in the Cook Studio project and in the Safaricom Youth Project, where we were trying to mentor the youth to be their own bosses. I realized capacity building, talking to them and mentoring them and telling them, hey, even if it was rough for me, it doesn't have to be for you.
That's right.
Trying to show them, okay, this is the way you can follow. This is the knowledge that I got. It was hard, yes, but I can pass it on to you.
That's right.
And that is why I decided after we left, Cook Studio, and after I left Beyond, because I said, no, let me run my own things right now. And I got involved with now this humanitarian stuff where we are trying to encourage the youth. Come on, don't just sit there and wait for the government or wait for your parent or wait to be given this and that. You have what it takes to be able to come up with an initiative that will help you and benefit your brother or your sister.
Right. That's actually a conversation that I had yesterday with one of my summer staff. They're in high school,
Yeah.
and I had the conversation of like, because we're not waiting for the government. We don't trust our government for nothing. But a lot of the students, they're waiting for the perfect job, and it's like, what the reason why I'm giving you certain assignments is because I want you to be able to learn it enough so you
Yes.
can monetize it immediately. I'm not
Truly.
giving you a job. I'm showing you how to create income. It might be
Truly.
small, but if you're going to college and you're living in the dorm and you don't want to ask your parents for money, here's an opportunity to edit videos or to make flyers or to do graphic design.
And
But
you see
it,
what you're doing is really something that somebody would have to wait and fight so hard to get into an existing production house, prove that you have, this paperwork. Now, this has been brought to you at a high school level.
Mhm.
Look at that. Look at that.
And so all you got to do is you have to do the work. And so there is the because this generation. So one, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. COVID threw them off, but they're the text generation, and it's like
I know.
I need you to communicate with me so I can actually help you. Good kids, but they're different from our generation. But yeah, that's always my goal is to show you the value of what you're doing because
Yes.
everything within my company I can do for the most part. I don't need you
It's
to
true.
do it, and I
Yeah.
can do it at the highest level.
Truly.
So I'm
Truly.
asking you to do it so that you can learn because the more of us that are in the field, the better. It's not like I don't look at people as competition because I'm building my brand. You have your brand. Everybody has their brands and they service different people, different industries. And so that's always my goal is just like give them practical information versus like you're saying, waiting for the government or waiting for a job. It's like, we don't know what's happening, particularly now. Like you can't
It's
wait for
true.
anything.
And let me tell you, even right now, people are learning very painful lessons, especially with the COVID and the effects, because it's come and destabilized everything.
Yeah.
The people, there were organized systems, there was an organized way of doing things, there were procedures of doing things. But the thing is, we are at a point where it's survival. So what are you gonna do? You can't sit there, your kids to go hungry. School has to be done in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Business will have to be done in a different way. We are getting into now that uncomfortable zone of IT.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, we have to adapt to change. Change does not come easy. So whether it's for the old folks or the young kids coming out of school, I'm telling you, even our training programs will have to change. I was talking to somebody and I was telling them, if you look, I don't know how it is there in America, but in Kenya, when you are doing your master's or your degree program, you do a project at the end
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes.
of the
A
course.
project or a thesis. Yes.
That is it. So my question is this: what all this that project is supposed to be your own as Monica,
Mm-hmm.
your own project which you can implement. Then why does it die there? Why doesn't it continue
After.
to a point of implementation? And where are we having most of our graduates lining up for jobs?
Right. Right. Right.
And yet you do the thesis and it was marked and it was said that you passed, and this is something that you can go out and implement. My point is, whether it is in agriculture, whether it is in business, whether in whatever sphere or of the economy we find ourselves in, let us focus now on the development issues. If it is media, what you're doing right now to develop the young people, mentoring them, telling them this is what you can use with your phone, instead of getting into into crazy stuff like pornography and everything, take that, shoot content, do
Mm-hmm.
something that is of value. And even our parents, like I'm telling you, at some point we were so scared because now when the technology came in and we have teenagers, and in Africa we don't ask these things very much, and our kids are learning a lot of stuff from from technology.
I can imagine.
We had to find a way of embracing it. But you tell your son, this is you can go to Google and do your research for your schoolwork. Da, 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 da. By the way, digital literacy is now getting embraced here. We are
Okay.
not where you are in America.
Mm-hmm.
But right now is when we're having online classes for our children and stuff like that. So you can imagine the parent, is learning to embrace it,
Yes.
even platforms like Facebook and everything, so that it is not something negative, but it's something that it can be used for positive change.
It's
So
a tool.
telling our kids and telling them, look, you can Google, you can learn stuff about this, allow us do this, you can create your own, channel and do stuff, be innovative.
So let me ask you
So
this.
hmm,
Quick question.
yes.
And going on what you're saying, what is it
No,
like to
carry on.
be what is it like to be a youth in Kenya right now? How do they feel about their future? How do they feel about what they want to do? Where's the trends? Where do they want to be at? What's the vibe of the youth right now?
I'm telling you, like identity. Now,
Mm-hmm.
right now, of course, now there's a social media which is opening them up to so much. So identity is identity is one crisis because okay, you can see them embracing a few things. You will they are now you can see they understand, like I was talking to, let me speak about what I can see with my son because I have a teenage son.
Yes.
So I was playing for him some music for a client, and I was asking him, what do you think about this music? And he was telling me, Mom, the auto tune is too much. And I was like, dude, when did you learn all this? Even my 10-year-old is telling me, Mom, yeah, that auto tune is too much. And then he's showing me another song of another international artist, and I'm like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
so you're learning. He's telling me now he's seeing how they are refurbishing iPhones,
Mm-hmm.
and he's trying to now show you how you can set up your own phone with iTunes and everything. And I'm like, so they're embracing technology. However, it has its negative effects
Let's talk
because
about
especially
that.
especially right now when there's COVID, the kind of teenage pregnancies that we have right now,
Mm-hmm.
they're on the increase
Mm-hmm.
because now they're not going to school. So it's just now being online.
Right.
And maybe the parent may not have time to monitor what you're watching
Mm-hmm.
because you have to go out and fend for your kids. So I was talking to a community worker in the place where I work, and she was telling me, unfortunately, most of the kids are now getting pregnant,
Right.
and that tells you also because there is no protection, HIV
Mm.
infections are also increasing.
Mm.
So we need to be able to channel these energies for them to be able to do stuff that is more creative. And I thank God for those who've been able to get into online schooling. But remember, those are for private schools. For the government schools, they don't have that kind of a privilege to do online schooling. Tell me, what are parents experiencing right now? Because the schools are closed until next year, January. For 1 year, you have kids in the house.
That's like us, but I mean, virtual schools is open to everybody though, so there's
The
not a
problem here,
limitation.
Monica, the problem here is that one, even the gadget
Hmm.
for you to connect to the internet, which you may not even have that internet,
Hmm.
and the capacity and the knowledge, and the teacher to be able to transmit, because it's a two-way thing. The
Right.
parent has to provide the gadget,
Right.
the electricity, and the internet.
Yes.
And there has to be a teacher on the other end. The schools are not able to support that.
Well, then it's a three-way thing because the student still has to do the work. And I just read an article about, I can't remember the number, but a bunch of students are not logging in to their classes right here in New York. They're not logging in. They're
He,
not
some
doing it.
some of our students, even they are not even aware,
Hmm.
and hence they're getting involved right now with now the vices, because now peer pressure and stuff. Because
Hmm.
where do they direct these energies?
Right.
It's tough for our
That's
parents right now.
yeah. That is. That is. What are organizations doing to combat this? What are you seeing? I mean, and it's still like a new problem, right? So,
It is. It is. Unless now what people now we can do right now, especially now for those community community for those like community centers. They have to come up with programs where the youth can go and they can have talks on reproductive health. They can have, they can be educated on just some life skills, and then maybe watch a program or two, then get into discussions and everything. And maybe learn a bit about, anything to do with digital stuff, just to empower them, just to keep them busy. But I'm telling you, for some of the homes to even afford that internet and even have that gadget is an issue. So they have to come up with community centers for them to go there. They go in the morning, whether it's mosque, whether it is a church, somewhere they can just go. And maybe I have seen, like in my neighborhood, there's a place where they play football. They play football, they have a feeding program, and they're kept busy.
Got it.
But you see, now with the social distancing, also it becomes a bit tricky. This is a real problem.
Yeah. I mean, also, if the community centers had like a virtual space where some of the programs can happen there as well, and
Yeah.
along with, having social distancing, that might be able to alleviate some of the pressure.
I'm telling you, that will help a lot. That will really help a lot. If they created now those virtual spaces, the kids come in and, they learn a thing or two. They're busy. They can even have a program running for like a whole day, even from 8 to around 2, so that now in the afternoon they can help their parents with house chores and everything. And have a feeding program, Monica. Have a feeding program, because some of these parents are not even able to afford lunch to feed the children.
Yeah.
Some people having only 1 meal in a day.
Wow.
Issues are real.
Issues are real. Yeah, that's real. That's real. That's why listen, this is what people need to know. This is what people need to know.
So if you have an opportunity to access training, whatever Young Boys is offering, or whatever your parents are offering you there, come on, embrace it. Someone here is dying to have that kind of an opportunity.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. For them, even a virtue center, I'm telling you, is enough. Just a center where they can go and learn is enough.
Learn, still have like social skills, because that's also something like that's really interesting about this generation. And I'll tell you, I messed up with my first group of students, right out of the gate during Corona. I had 3 students, and we would do these bi-weekly calls. We would talk twice a week. And during one of the times we were talking, I slipped up and told them, I don't think this is ever going back. And then I could see on their faces like the despair. And I was like, oh, because at this time, like, we didn't know, and they're at home. I've experienced 9/11. We've experienced, tragedy, and then knowing how like the world changes after that.
They're scared. They, at least in school, they would go, interact with their friends. They would be busy, and even for the parents, it's also an issue, because you are not used to stick. You in the morning when you tell them, hey, here's your breakfast, here's your books, we paid your school fees, ta-da. Now you have them in the house.
Yeah.
You have to engage them. You have to follow up. What are they doing? Because kids can be crazy. You have to also try to, teach them and mentor them without being disrespectful. Tell them, no, this one you can't do. So it's a very new thing for all of us. But we are coping. We are coping.
You don't have any choice. And I'll tell you, here's another crazy thing, because we've had all these solar eclipses and then like all these full moons, and it's just like, yo, the energy is crazy. I don't know if it's Corona or it's the universe, but something is happening and I'm about to snap. Like on my way here, there was people fighting on the way here.
Yeah, I'm telling you, even people are getting depressed, mental health issues.
Yes.
But you know what? We have to keep smiling and we have to keep positive. At the end of the day, despite all, let's embrace change. Let's have fun with this thing, and we move on.
That's right.
Yeah. So training has to continue, mentoring has to continue, work and business has to continue. Yeah, but let's be safe.
Let's be safe. So let's switch gears a little bit and talk about the Global Youth Forum. Tell us about that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. It's happening. It started. Yes, it was launched this week,
Mm-hmm.
and they've chosen youths that cut from all over the country, from all kind of walks of life. It does not limit you,
Mm-hmm.
whether you're from India, whether you're from Kenya, whether you're from America, whether you're from wherever. So they'll be given an opportunity for them to to learn about leadership, to learn about project management, to learn about community development, to learn about
Good.
mental health. And in that forum, even right now, you can see they're really engaging with each other, and they're bringing out the issues that affect them.
Good.
If it's unemployment, and even there, what is so amazing is that they're putting themselves in the space of our leaders right now, and they're
Mm-hmm.
saying, if I was our leader, how would I do things differently?
Right. Right.
Issues to do with governance and bad politics, and human trafficking and child abuse, education, provision of basic services, climate change. Those are the
Mm-hmm.
topics they're discussing in the forum.
Right.
Beyond now the main course, where they have mentors who are subject matter experts in that. They are all having their own little discussion. Yesterday they were discussing about the issues affecting the youth as they were
Mm-hmm.
celebrating the National Youth Day. And it was good to see them saying how they want to get interested in the development issues of their countries and their communities, and how they want to bring change after the course. And that is what we are looking for
Right.
the youth to rise to a position of leadership and accountability, and saying, I'm not waiting for my government, I'm not waiting for my mom to effect change, I'm not waiting until I get out of school to be able to learn how to create employment for myself and
You
how
got to
to
do it
impact
yourself.
the life of my fellow youth. It is me to bring a change. That is what we are trying to instill in the minds of these young people. And even
Yes.
our training programs and even our schools, we're telling them, don't tell them that at the end of the day there's going to be a good job. Teach them to be innovative right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
If
You
it, if
can't.
it,
You can't depend on a job. A job is not yours. You
exactly.
have to depend on yourself.
Yeah, teach them to do it themselves. So that is one of the things that now the Global Youth Forum is doing right now.
I
Most of
love
them are
that.
humanitarians. Some of them are their national leaders, they're community leaders, and we just want to mentor them
I love
so that
that. I
now
love
they
that.
shun violence, they shun vices and drug abuse. Let's have a different
Good.
talk right now. I think
Yeah.
it's time for a different talk.
It's
We are tired.
it,
It's time for a different talk. Let's be
it's
responsible.
it's so time because like my generation, I grew up in the beginning of hip hop, but like I definitely lived through the thug booty shaking era of hip hop. You
Yeah.
know, and there was a time where it's like you, in order to be cool, you had to go to jail, you had to sell drugs, or you
That
had
is
to sleep
it.
around.
That is not cool anymore.
And I'm so thankful.
It is not cool anymore. We are
Thank
envisioning youths who will be able to sit with presidents, sit with them and tell them, look, this is how we think we can handle our issues. Let us plug in into the frameworks and into the systems that are already in place.
yes.
That is where we want them to be at. They have great minds. Some of them, let me tell you, if you listen to them, Monica, they will blow up your mind. Their ideas are so huge.
Mm.
Yeah.
I believe it. I believe it. Yeah, but besides the knuckleheads, some of them are just lazy. But they, you know what I realize is that they're so open to the mentorship. Like they want to be helped. They
Yeah.
understand when it's real, when it's genuine. And you know, even if you call it's like, hey, like you don't have the work ethic in order to be in this industry just yet. You know, and
Truly.
like and they're listening, you know, and so they want to learn. I think they want to learn way more than my generation wanted to learn. I was like, look, we got this. We good. You know, I feel like they, you know, they're genuinely interested in like, how
Yes.
do I do this? How do I make it?
Yes. Yes. Like in one of the training programs that for the students, I lecture at times. And when during the induction, and when you ask the student to tell you, okay, now tell me, where do you envision yourself going with this thing? What exactly do you want? And they will tell you, I want to be a director. Da, da, da. But they forget, for you to be a director, there is a process.
There is.
There is a process.
You don't jump to director. There's roles before you get there.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Because you have to go through the learning processes. Even if you're starting as a cable wrangler,
Hmm.
knowing how to set up the ENG kit, one day when you sit as a director, you won't get stranded because some dude refused to sort out your ENG kit.
Yep.
You can like I was telling one of them, tell me if I am sending you for a shoot in Nigeria, which is outside this country, what are you going to pack?
Hmm.
Or what will you tell your team to pack?
You can't lead if you haven't gone through that experience and mastered that part first.
You have to.
You have
And
to.
that is why you see our institutions, because we are very busy, we are ready to channel out and to get the students out, numbers and everything. But when you sit with them on an interview, there is so much
Mm.
that is they still need to learn. And that is why you are there. That is why
Hmm.
I am there, so that we fill that gap.
Yeah.
So that when students come out from school with so much theory, now you're able to tell them, now look, this is how this business is run.
Yeah. This is what you do.
Yeah, you're a very good creative, yes, but look also, there's also the money side and the business
Hmm.
aspect of doing things. Because most of them think, because you can be a good creative, I'm envisioning this. I can, but you can't even manage your resources that you have. So those are some of the things that they need to be taught.
Yeah,
And that
it's
is
not about we need more money. It's like, well, what do you have already that you can work with?
that is it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
create opportunities for yourself and for your friends.
that's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Because all it's going to do is snowball and just like build, build, build. It's not going to
Yeah,
happen overnight. Like if you say
yeah.
you want this as a career, then you have to think about the long term process of being
You
consistent every
have
single day,
to.
showing up.
You have to. And consistency.
Consistency.
Consistency, because at the end of the day, even you, it has not taken a day to get there.
Yep.
Trust me, it has not taken a day. You have to be patient, you have to be able to listen, you have to be able to learn. And with time, you become a pro. It's not a
Yep.
day. It is not a day's work.
And sometimes being a pro is just outrunning everybody else. It's like, people didn't survive because I've seen a lot of people in my career, it's like they didn't survive. And so now that everybody has a media company now with the virtual world, it's like it's cute. I get it. But
But
I can do 10 to 20 interviews in a week, and I can produce and I can help other people develop their shows. And so it's different because I just put in the time to be here. Where I do see some people that they want to do shows and they want, well, why didn't we get the views and why didn't it work out this way? And it's like it's just your first show.
let me tell you something.
Hmm.
Monica, one thing we must learn is to appreciate our differences
Yeah.
and our strengths. The thing is, you are a media professional, but
Hmm.
girl, I can't do what you do. I can't. I am wired in a different way. You are wired in a different way. We may
That's
be in the
right.
same thing. But the thing is, we can complement each other.
Yes.
So there is no need for this unnecessary competition and
Mm-mm.
fighting and everything. But if I tap into your strength and you tap into my strength, we will do wonders. We will accomplish much. And this is what is killing our society today, because everyone wants to be top cream, which is good because it's good to be competitive. But at the same time, I need to know myself as Judy
Hmm.
and my niche, my mandate, and what I'm called to do, the places I'm called to influence, and the people. Sorry, I hope I'm not sounding like a preacher.
No, you're good. You're good.
You understand? Let me tell you,
Hmm.
you need to know these are the audiences that I'm meant for. These are the people that I'm meant to touch and to make a difference. These are the
Hmm.
places. These are the places I can influence. But
Hmm.
then I need to tap into Monica's energy, because I don't have a platform like yours, Young Boss Media, but yet in this platform I can sit and talk to one, two, three people and they learn a few things. So it's even the amount of content that you're channeling out, but the quality that you're giving. If I am engaging with you, even if it's 2 minutes, what are you learning from me? And what am I learning from you? That is a question we should ask ourselves.
And that's the biggest thing. Because what I see from new producers is the views, right? Because, and particularly in America, people buy views, people
Yeah.
buy followers. So to me, that means less because right now, like, even with this live video, more people are going to watch it over the next week, the month, the year, right? Based upon, the tags and all that. But what's most important is the connection. Are we having a connection that's actually worth watching and learning from?
That
And
is
so that's it. That's the content.
that is it. And the thing is, and you can imagine what I'm feeding you now is what you go feed somebody else. Or what you're feeding me now is what I'll go feed the people that I'm engaging and working with in all spheres. You see? And that trickles down even now to the kind of, governance systems that we have for governments or work ethics that we have. Because we are so used to channeling out things that are not of value. And this now waters down everything.
Yes.
But how about if we start channeling out stuff that will build each other, that will make ourselves better women? What I will learn from you, from that small time that I've engaged with you, I'll take it to my people in Turkana, or your people. I'll take it to the women in Central Province. I'll take it to the forums for the youth. And in a nutshell, through this platform, I'll be transforming minds.
That's right.
That is what it is all about. And that is
That's
what
the
will
impact.
give you, and it will give you satisfaction at the end of the day. But
Yes.
if I am fighting and competing with you, dude, I'm having a very shallow mind.
Yeah, very, very, very. I compete with myself, and that's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me going. Like I'm constantly thinking
Yeah.
about because my studio has been closed, but during this whole Corona time, I'm still doing interviews, and so once
Truly.
my studio opens back up, it's like, all right, how can I make my show better than it was before it closed? And so like for me, it's about my own competition with myself and just
Yeah.
knowing that I really can do anything that I put my mind to. Like I'm at the point as a woman where I can say, if I can think it, I can do it. And there's no doubt in my mind, and that faith and that trust comes from just doing it, going through the process, doing it, failing a whole bunch of times,
And learning
and
because let
learning.
me tell you, you can never say that you know everything. As I
Mm-mm,
said
mm-mm.
to you, I am learning so much. As you research, as you engage, but the problem with us, we don't even want to listen to each other.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be able to listen to this other person and listen. What are they offering? What are they bringing on the table?
Yes. How is it a win-win?
Exactly. So, I mean, I don't know. I have also seen it in our media here. If you look at the content that is being channeled out in YouTube, it's a lot. But is it of value?
Right.
How is it impacting on the viewer, on the audiences?
I want to touch on that a little bit because when we think of African media, so I'm gonna pivot a little bit. When we think of African media, we think of Nollywood, right? Is there a competition or a rivalry between Kenyan media and Nollywood? What is the conversation on the continent between you two?
Yes, because let me tell you, it all boils down to numbers, and it all boils down to who takes the bigger share. Because I remember at some point when I was working for Film Studios Kenya, there's a time we had some producers come over from Nollywood. Yeah, Nollywood, yes. So that they wanted to come and do like some sort of collaboration. But the conversation was who is going to give the bulk share financing. Basically, financing was the issue between the two. But if they can be able to to identify the issues that are affecting Nigeria and West Africa, the issues that are affecting Kenya, and then find a way of making films that would address these two. Then why the competition?
Right.
Because we may want to show that we have the resources, or this one doesn't have the resources, but how about complementing each other?
Mm-hmm.
So I really don't know how far that got. I don't remember. I don't know whether they were able to produce the film, but there was a collaboration to that effect. But I don't know whether it went through. But meanwhile, what I saw with the project that we did for Coke Studio Africa, it was amazing. Some of these top cream artists you see, even in East Africa, in Nigeria, they build their platform from that project.
Uh-huh.
Coca-Cola wanted to increase their brand love among the youth. And so they were like, what would be the best vehicle? We were like, I think we can use artists. But then how do we do it? So we had to get collaborations, get an artist from Nigeria, collaborating with an artist from Kenya, North Africa collaborating with an artist from Tanzania,
mm-hmm.
and so forth. And at the end of the day, I'm telling you, most of the artists that were signed up for Cook Studio then, they are now in the international platform.
I'm sure.
Because we got top cream producers to do the mashups. And let me tell you, there were fights in the studio because somebody would say, excuse me, I am this kind of an artist. How can I make with this kind of an artist? But the producer would come in between them and tell them, no, you will work together.
Right.
You will put your cultural differences aside.
Good for that producer.
And you will make a good product.
Yes, good for that producer.
And of course, there was good content for the show.
Yes.
Yeah. And looking at those artists right now, you can never match their talent. They really go far and beyond. So at the end of the day, it's not about competition. It's about healthy competition and sitting together and working together over our differences.
Judy, this has been a great conversation. We're hitting our time. Thank you so much for all that you do. You are an inspiration, and also like you are making an impact. You are making a direct impact on Kenya, and media, which eventually has an impact on the world. So like you are changing the world, sis. So thank you so much for the work that you're doing. If somebody wanted to work with you or reach out to you, how would they do that?
You know what is so funny? I'm not a very okay. I don't know. Maybe probably would they can reach me through you.
Mm-hmm.
Young Boss Media.
I got you. Cause she Young Boss, so like that's what it is. You want to holler at Judy, you gotta come to me, son. You know that's just how it works.
Look at you.
Yeah. I appreciate. I'll take them rights.
Yeah, you take the rights, eh?
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time.
But let's make an impact. Let's transform our communities. It doesn't matter how big. It doesn't matter how small you are. You can change lives.
That's right. Somebody did it for us, and so we're just paying it forward.
And let's not be selfish with knowledge.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Judy. I'm gonna close out the show, but let's chat afterwards.
Yeah, sure.
Peace. All right, you heard it here first. We're doing a lot of great work out in Kenya. Young Boss Kenya coming soon. Listen, the media is a humongous thing right now. It's a humongous deal. And we need to make sure that our young people, our youth, our young leaders have the opportunity to use media to benefit them. So thank you so much for your time. And remember to go to youngbossmedia.com and get your copy of Mind Your Business and Prosper. Peace and love.